Welcome to Lucid Mind Chemistry channel. In this video, I have compiled questions related to the properties of group 2 hydroxides such as solubility, trends, and other properties. For similar topics and question timestamps, read video description.
Question 14. An excess of magnesium oxide is shaken with water. The resulting mixture is filtered into test tube P. An excess of barium oxide is shaken in with water and the resulting mixture is filtered into test tube Q. So we have two test tubes. One is of magnesium oxide with water. Second is of barium oxide with water. Which oxide reacts more readily with water and which filtrate has the lower pH? So for group 2 oxides, we know that beryllium oxide, then we have magnesium oxide, then calcium oxide, then barium oxide. As we know that the reactivity of oxides increases down the group with water. So the reactivity increases. It means that barium oxide is more reactive than magnesium oxide. So it should be A or B. Now let's find out the solubility of group 2 hydroxides. Now for group 2 hydroxides, we know that the solubility of hydroxides down the group increases. So it means that barium oxide is more soluble in water as compared to beryllium hydroxide or magnesium hydroxide. So test tube P is of magnesium hydroxide and test tube Q is of barium hydroxide. Barium hydroxide is more alkaline, so it means it will have higher pH. And the question says test tube with filtrate of lower pH. So the one with lower pH should be P. So the answer is part A.
Question 17. Which property shows an increase from magnesium to barium? Now magnesium and barium both belong to group 2 elements. A says the first ionization energy of the elements. In group 2 elements, as we move down in the group, the size of atom increases and therefore the ionization energy of the elements decrease. So A is incorrect. B says the oxidizing power of the metals. Now as we move down the group, the metals easily lose electrons, so therefore their reducing power increases. The oxidizing power actually decreases. C says the solubility of the hydroxides. Now we have seen the trend in the solubility of hydroxides, that magnesium hydroxide is less soluble as compared to barium hydroxide, because barium hydroxide is more alkaline as compared to magnesium hydroxide, so therefore the solubility increases. The solubility of the sulfates, it also decreases down in the group 2, and we know that barium sulfate is almost solid. It does not dissolve in water. So the only correct option is part C.
Question 18. Which property shows an increase from calcium to barium going down in group 2? A. The ease of decomposition of the carbonates. Now the carbonates of group 2 actually become more stable going down in group 2. This is because whenever we go down in group 2, the size of cation increase. And when the size of cation increase, it means the polarizability of the cation actually decreases down the group. When the polarizability decreases, so therefore bond strength increases and therefore it is difficult to decompose the carbonate. So while comparing calcium carbonate with barium carbonate, the size of barium plus 2 ion is far larger as compared to the size of calcium plus 2 ion. So therefore barium carbonate is much more stable than calcium carbonate. So the ease of composition does not increase, it decreases. So therefore A is incorrect. B says the solubility of hydroxides. Now as we move down in group 2, the solubility of hydroxide actually increases, and we can see that barium hydroxide is far more alkaline as compared to calcium hydroxide. This is because barium hydroxide easily produces hydroxide ions. So this could be correct. C says the solubility of the sulfates. The solubility of sulfates decrease going down in group 2, and we can see that barium sulfate is far more insoluble as compared to calcium sulfate. D. The volume of hydrogen given off when 1 gram of the metal reacts with water. Now if we take 1 gram of the metal and going down in group 2, the atomic number actually increases. The atomic mass also increases. So the number of moles become less and less as we move down in group 2. Because moles is equal to mass in grams divided by atomic mass. So therefore, as the number of moles will decrease, the volume of hydrogen given off will also decrease. So therefore, this is also incorrect. Correct option is B.
Question 13. Which row could refer to barium metal and barium hydroxide? First option is the color seen when the metal is burnt in oxygen. When barium metal burns in the presence of oxygen, the color shown is green flame. So it could be A or B. Second option is the pH of saturated solution of the hydroxide. As barium is a group 2 hydroxide, and we know that group 2 hydroxide become more soluble when moving down in the group. So when solubility increase, the pH also increases. So the pH will be 13 for barium hydroxide, as it is below in group 2. The correct option is therefore B. Question 35. Group 2 elements and their compounds show trend in their physical and chemical properties. Barium is above radium in group 2 of the periodic table. Which statement are likely to be correct? Option 1. Barium hydroxide is less soluble than radium hydroxide. Now for group 2 hydroxide, the solubility increases down the group. As barium is above radium, so the solubility of barium hydroxide would be less than radium hydroxide. Option 1 is correct. 2. Barium reacts less vigorously with water than radium does. Now the reactivity of group 2 metals also increases down the group. This is because electrons are easy to lose as the size of atom increases. So therefore radium is more reactive than barium. So option 2 is also correct. 3. Barium sulfate is more soluble than radium sulfate. Now the solubility of sulfates of group 2 decrease down the group. This is because more stronger forces of attraction are present. So therefore barium sulfate will be more soluble than radium sulfate. So option 3 is also correct. As all options are correct, so therefore answer is A. Thanks for watching. If this was useful, please do like, subscribe and share.